If I give you a platform for you to speak and you decide to spoil your 2 minutes, I wanted to say another word, but I know that
It's okay. It's on YouTube. We'll beep it out.
I know this is a friendly channel, so I can't say the F word. So you decide to F it up, so it's up to you, but you only have 2 minutes.
Yep.
Hi, welcome to yet another episode of GMT8 podcast. Today we have our guest, Irwin.
We stall because, let's be honest, this guy is a modest guy. He has the title, but he's like, just call me Irwin Kena. So we're going to call you Irwin.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know who Irwin is, he has been in the industry. He's a serial entrepreneur, investor, for how many decades already?
Yeah, coming to I would say 2 decades. Yeah, 2 decades.
Yeah. And him personally, together with his team and business partners, he has hosted quite some big names in the industry and entertainment, concerts as well.
Yeah.
Could you name drop a couple of them?
Well, name drop a few. Let's talk about moving forward. Moving forward, we are bringing in the hip hop scene. Where probably JJ and myself will really.
We just called ourselves old, just in case you're wondering. We just called ourselves old. All right, go.
Well, we're bringing in because right now, if you look at the scene in Asia, not only in Asia, in the Western world, it's about techno, it's about EDM. It's about fast moving dubsteps and stuff and so on and so forth. We find that. What happened to the golden era? The golden era of all the beautiful lyrics and lyrics that mean something.
And music you can groove too.
Lyrics that groove too. So we are talking about hip hop, we are talking about retro,
dope.
Old school rock, alternative rock, things like that. Yeah, these are the concerts they're bringing into Asia, predominantly also in Malaysia.
Yeah, but the crazy part of music itself, sometimes it transcends time. Like Smells Like Teen Spirit, you still can rock to it today.
Yes,
that's more than 30 years.
Well, it's there are a lot of music. I mean, let's put it this way: if you on any Michael Jackson song right now, it's evergreen.
Correct, correct, and that's the whole thing. But when Xingyu says you do a lot of things, how many pies is your hand in?
Well, let's put it this way. I have put my hand in quite a number of industry where I'm part as an investor.
Right.
Part as an investor because I started from the IT industry.
Right.
Information technology, not the current social media and AI part. We are talking about the programming language like COBOL, C language, during those times.
Good old days.
Good old days where you have the Pentium 1, those kind. So,
Don't laugh, young people. That's your foundation.
Yes, a foundation.
Whatever you have now was built on that.
Well, I started from there because system analyst by profession.
Right.
I learned from that. I also have my companies along that. And I also sold 2 of my companies in the past. Also on IT. Currently, I'm also involved some in social media, some part of it, where we help some of the corporations in Asia where we do the social media bit, and how to move towards to the general public, especially right now. You see most of the audience, especially consumers, is on the internet, especially on their phones, right?
Yeah, so that's what we mean earlier by he has his hand in a lot of pies, as you heard. Okay, can I go to one part where you say, you have an IT background.
IT, yeah.
Okay, IT background to lead to business. Everybody wants to be a solopreneur, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What made you preneur yourself?
Okay, I never. Well, when I came to I would say as a business, as an industry, I never thought that I was an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur was not even the name.
The name, okay.
When we were in the industry, it was like,
you start your business.
You start your business. You are a whole rounder. That's it. In Chinese they always say the one leg kick. Pao ka liao. So you were the pao ka liao, the one leg kick guy. So I believe how I started from in terms of foundation is this. Number one, of course, you got to have the discipline for yourself. Nowadays, I find that a lot of individuals, especially the younger generations, they always feel about, I want freedom. I want to do anything for myself, when I want to come to work, so on and so forth. I think it's a wrong way if you want to start as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you start is because you feel that you are the only one that can push you forward, push yourself forward in things like that. For me, I would say that one of the things that actually helped me throughout my journey as an entrepreneur in every company is because I'm very good with project management. As in time management, project management. It's always about working on an action. Let's say if you have a 10-step action and 10-step action has to work and it has to come with a timeline. That's very, very important. Today, a lot of people may not have a clear view in terms of the timeline and when you want to achieve it. So you always be a entrepreneur. It's like, I want to hit this. I want to hit this, but when?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what, from your experience, what stops the new generation of entrepreneurs to really be gung-ho and do it?
No, I think JJ hit the nail on the head where when you mentioned about really that sometimes when we had a discussion just now when you mentioned about discipline and freedom to do anything, I find that because the foundation that we have when we first start learning when we were pretty young at that time, we were military trained.
In other words, I mean, if your father don't like you,
or you did something wrong, your mom will hit you like hell. You have to follow exactly that steps. But nowadays, if you look at it, it's like we are getting into a very soft mode rather than a hard mode.
Correct.
And if you want to be a businessman or if you want to be a professional for that matter, you need to be very tough on yourself. And that's very much the, I would say that the foundation, the criteria to be successful. To be tough on yourself. But if you feel that you're not hard, you're not, cannot struggle to this pressure on being toughened on yourself, then you're supposed to work for people. You need to.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
In fact, if you ask me, I have so many of my friends who are, super duper successful businessmen. Where they send their kids to right now, they send their kids to work at Microsoft, Google, the factory. You'll be surprised. They'll send them to SME factories and not to be as a management, to learn from the floor. And to really take orders from people and really understand what SOP is, what system operations are all about.
Correct.
Because once you step out of this journey of let's say the SOPs, the multinationals, then you understand the difference between why you must have a system.
No, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. No, a lot of people don't understand this. People just think that there's only 3 steps to success. No, it's not. There's multiple steps, point A, 2.5.23A, sub-column 6, something like that. That's how life is. And you add in the sub-columns, true experience of learning and learning. And you have to be hands-on, on the ground. It's not just bye-bye. You can be the bye-bye later on when the business is grown enough. And that's the one that everybody wants to. When they start a business, they want to be then be an investor.
You see, I find the difference between the yesteryears and now is this. Ask ourselves, especially those people who are right now coming into the market and wanting to build something for themselves. We ask ourselves one thing: when was the last time you pick up a book? You pick up a book and really read. A lot of times we will find people switching through TikTok and learning from Instagram and stuff and so on and so forth. You're only learning the topics, the headline, but you have not dive deep into what this relate. What does it matter? Why is it being put in that matter? There are probably plenty of secrets and plenty of items that you can learn from in all those steps. But a lot of times, if you are just reading the headline and you think that there's a lot of misinterpretation in terms of the things that how you do it and how you become successful in
Yeah,
a way.
yeah.
Not to say successful. The first thing you don't think about success, you think about failures. You need to learn how to fail.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
the most important part. Because without failing, you wouldn't know what is success all about.
Correct.
And how for you in your journey, you know, I'm sure it's not all rainbows and sunshines.
Yes, of course.
Right? So you know, with reflecting back on some of your more significant failures, right? How have you managed to get out of it and embrace it?
Okay, there's one thing that I would say for this past couple of years, 5-6 years, we have started to do something where a bit different from the rest of the people. You see, especially in Asia, Malaysia for that matter, we always love to do this thing called the announcement of launches. Launching this, tomorrow launch that, wow, fantastic, we launch a new product, we launch a new outlets and stuff and so on and so forth. We start having something called we embrace the closing. We embrace the closing as well. It's like, yeah, we know that we have invested in this company, but we lost money, fine. But let's have a final photo with it. Let's keep it as a memory. But that memory becomes a lesson for us.
Right.
So that for us, when we build the next company or when we build the next step, we know exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you go in the sea and you see a great white shark with a lot of scars, you know he's learned a lot, and don't mess with that shark.
Yeah, don't mess.
Yeah. What are some of your more significant scars or expensive lessons?
Well, I would say that you see, there's this thing that people think about, which is very much about the word entrepreneur.
Yeah.
The word entrepreneur actually stems from entre. Entre means a lot, which means many, right? A lot of times you see that a lot of people in the market, they call themselves entrepreneur. In fact, they are working for themselves. So you are a solopreneur. In fact, you are probably a freelancer, right? As an entrepreneur, one of the things is tough for us is that it is mostly about partnership. And partnership is a chemistry where, you grow with each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes looking for a wife is easier than looking for a business partner. Yeah, so of course, business partner, sometimes some of it works, some of it doesn't, and you have to be able to gauge this and fast, and you know that if it doesn't work, let's move on with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Be mature enough with it. But like you said, you see, learning lessons and everything you do, you have a lesson in it.
Yeah.
The crazy part is people don't understand that even though you're studying everything about subject A, the critical thinking and then being able to adapt knowledge of subject A, even though you go and do subject B, which is totally different from A, but being able to do that, it's a lesson lost on a lot of people. People don't realize, but that is different. How do you adapt that? How much have you adapted from IT into your current day one? I'm sure there's lessons that still has come.
I totally agree with you, JJ, where there's a lot of things that can be adapted because the principles are the same.
Yes.
The principles are the same. I mean, if you look at whether if you're in sales for IT, you're in sales for retail, or you're in sales B2B or B2C, there are principles or fundamentals that are predominantly the same.
Yep.
Yeah. So these are the things that you can adapt and you can put forth to another industry.
Yep.
Irregardless whichever industry that you may be. Right. But of course you need to be strong in terms of domain industry where you are.
Yeah.
But I learned this from my mentor many years ago, is that when you first started off, do not be thinking that you are able to master everything. You can master everything, but the thing is, you need to take one step at a time.
Right.
At any one time, you need to master one. So once you have done one, and you are very sure you are able to master that, so you can pick up the next. That should be the way.
Yep.
The problem right now with a lot of people is that they feel that they can actually do 10 topics at the same time. You can't do that. You can't be a doctor and an engineer at the same time. But you can spend 10 years of being a doctor,
Yep.
be a successful doctor, and on your 11th year, you decide to be an engineer. You can go.
Yeah,
I mean, if you feel that you can
Do it.
just do it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So when it comes to entrepreneurs, right, do you believe, okay, so between a generalist and a specialist, right, typically which would be a better entrepreneur?
Well, I believe for all entrepreneurs, no matter which industry you are in, you have to be a specialist in that industry. You cannot not be a specialist in the industry. For and unless you're saying that you are just only treading water and just enjoying the ride, which means you're just going to be one of the 10 people, and I'm comfortable with it, business as usual, not going to be successful, but just making a little bit of it, just spending time. Unless you have a dad or mother or father where you have tons of money, I don't think you want to spend money on that way. But for me, I feel that for everything that you do, you got to be a specialist on it. Irregardless, even if you're not you're not a specialist as in the skilled worker in that industry. Just to give you an example, for the past 6 years, 5 or 6 years, me and my partner, we have actually built the hair salon business. This is brick and mortar business, right? Yep. So we started off from a couple of shops to right now we have 6 outlets altogether.
Right.
And of course, out of the 6 outlets, we have about close to about 30 plus workers in our company, and all of them are hairstylists. But let's be honest here, I've never became a hairstylist. I do not know how to cut hair.
Yeah.
I do not know how to blow hair, for that matter. But the thing is that I'm not in the industry as a skilled worker, for that matter. But I know exactly what it takes to be a skilled worker.
Yep.
Right, and to lead the team based on that. So fundamentally, if you're looking at leadership, control, management, that's where I put my effort in. But if you ask me whether do I know about hair, do I know about hair growth, do I know about a certain trend-setting cuts, so and so forth, I got to know. No, I got to know what's happening. And even if people would ask me, I said, yeah, I know what's the next trend color that is going to come in the next 6 months. Because you need to know your industry. That's exactly what it means. You may not do it, but you need to know.
Yep.
Right?
And you have to have the top line, at least the basic understanding also. To cut hair, this. To do it, it's a whole different thing. I don't know how to do it, but I know what is needed to be done.
At least you need to be able to articulate.
Yeah, correct.
What's the whole thing about?
Especially if you want to be a leader, not a boss. Because that's a big difference. People don't understand sometimes when they become their own business owner. They forget that they are part leader, because even though you're paying your staff, but you got to lead them in a way so that if they succeed, you succeed.
Well, unless if you are in the quadrant, the 4th quadrant, as what Kiyosaki put it, is the 4th quadrant is investors. If you're in the investor quadrant, you don't care.
Of course.
You just need to know about the balance sheet, whether money is coming in. That's it.
Correct.
But if you're a business owner, that's where you need to find out exactly what ticks in the company. What's happening, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things you mentioned was in terms of mastery, right? Master one thing at a time.
Yep.
And one of the habits that you have had for the past couple of years is every year you master one skill.
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years you master one skill.
I don't think I can master one skill in 1 year. It's too short of time. But yes, I do. Every 2 years, I'll make sure that I'll pick up a skill that I've not ventured into. But everything that I learn, I want to make sure that I really master it.
Right.
Yeah. Just my recent one was actually speaking in Mandarin. Because I believe, knowing Ching Yu for quite a number of years, many of my friends also know this, that I'm an ABC, which is I'm English.
You were an ABC.
I'm English and I don't really speak Mandarin at all. And this probably because COVID actually helped as well, where you have to stay at home and you can't do anything. So you just have to practice your own language and so on. So I was able to pick up Mandarin, and right now I'm actually able to speak very fluently on that.
Awesome.
That is one of the skills that I wanted to master all this while. Yeah.
And the crazy part about learning new skills, it opens new doors.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And then all of a sudden, like, oh,
I'm speaking
new
to
possibilities.
Yes, I'm speaking to new people and stuff and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, because you meet people along the way with that same interest. Suddenly, like you'll see different interests connect as well, and then you find that is networking. Not sitting down, hello, how are you? Sit down and just have one conversation. It's really diving into interests and together, and then you'll see the true people, see whether you can work together. Especially like what you said, when it comes to business or entrepreneurs, finding the right partners to grow. That's it. This involves all that.
Well, it does. It does open up to new opportunities. There's always this thing where people say CEO. Is it Chief Entertainment Officer, Chief Executive Officer? But to me, I picked this up from one of the mentors very early in life, which is CEO stands for Change Equals to Opportunity. So you need to be the change yourself. Once you make that changes, it equals to opportunity. New opportunity will arrive along the way when you have opened up these changes to yourself.
Right, but one thing that a lot stops people from, trying new things or moving forward or doing anything is fear of failure. A lot of people are, I don't want to even start it because it's something that scares me, so therefore I don't want to try, so therefore I want you to explain. I know you spoke about your failure already, but how do you deal with it? How can one help themselves with it? How do you take that first step forward to learn something new? All that, but before that, we got to take a break. Suspense. Dim the lights. No, of course. We got a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back right after this.
Groove Asia, the world's #1 digital marketing software platform and fastest growing entrepreneurship community, is now free for life. Your complete digital products and services online sales system, all the tools you want to run your internet business, everything you need to sell products and services online. No credit card, zero fees, it's just free. Discover the new better way to start an online business, build websites, and sell digital products. Create a full website with unlimited products and funnels, with free hosting, subdomain, and custom domain capability, and with more integrations so you can automate your business. It's truly the last online sales system you will ever need. Save thousands a month with free lifetime access to the top most powerful apps in the industry, including the #1 leading page and funnel building platform in the world, with thousands of brand new members making a switch over every single day. Plus, get free access to our private community, free live training, and free affiliate marketing business opportunity. Discover how to get started for free. Secure your free lifetime membership today and access your free software, training, and bonuses right now. Free for a limited time, only at grooveasia.ca.
We're back and we're eating sweets.
That's sweet.
Are we?
We're all sweet. That's why. Okay,
Alright.
let's talk about fear. What a segue. Huge segue. But fear is the thing that stops a lot of people from achieving what they need or want or dreams. It's always fear. All right, but how did you overcome? I'm sure you still deal with fears every day. Like when you started your first brick and mortar. You know what I mean? I'm sure there was a fear there, but how do you mitigate it? How do you move forward?
No, I think this is something which is we have to see the end result based on this. But a lot of times when we were young, I think it's mostly ingrained in us on what fear is. A lot of times we always feel that fear is bad for us. Especially I was raised from a Chinese family. It's like anything that you do, if you do it wrongly, you get a smack on your face or whatever it is. It's like, don't do that wrong. Things like that. You're not allowed to fail. That's the problem. You see, moving forward, where for us, we must learn to really fall. We must understand that fail is actually good for you. Instead, that it's not good for you. Yeah, that's the thing. One of the things that I learned probably like 20 over years ago, the first industry that I ventured into was, although you might say I'm in IT, because as an IT is literally you're a geek. And as a geek, as you know, you can't communicate. You're only in front of the 14-inch screen and stuff and so on and so forth. The thing is that this was one first thing that my dad taught me. He says that you are such a young guy, and you should go out to look at the world and let the world speak to you.
Wow.
So
Your dad's very wise.
So first thing that I ventured into was sales. I went into sales from a totally person who doesn't know anything about sales but only towards IT. I went into sales. But I went into different kind of sales, but one of the things that actually I learned a lot in that industry, that was actually insurance.
Oh,
I ventured into insurance.
that's even okay.
It is the toughest of them all
Yes.
because if you remember 20 over years ago, insurance was not about unit trust, about savings plan and so on and so forth. It's about death.
Yeah.
It's about
death benefits and
critical illness.
Life. Yes.
And if you know, I'm not sure how many critical illnesses now. I think they were talking about 40 to 50.
Wow, back then was 23 or something.
No,
like that.
I started with 14.
14.
1-4.
Okay.
There was 14 critical illness. And people was like, who are you to talk to me about death and critical illness? I'm not going to face that. But you see, I, from a very young part that time where I learned that failure was very good for me. Because there's always a ratio. The ratio is, if you are a beginner, out of 10 failures, you're sure to get one yes. So I was like waiting. It was more like a game to me. It was like, I wish to get my 10 failures so that I can get my first yes.
Right. Okay.
So when you have a end result, as in you know that the end result is going to be a good opportunity result, so you will treat failure differently. So that's always the case. You treat it, that is the way, then you treat failure differently. The problem with a lot of times that for us is that we always fear of the unknown.
Oh, yes.
It's like you're afraid of, especially in this generation where we are in social media, we always feel that if you do something wrong, someone will say, will not like me.
Yeah.
People will not give me a thumbs up and stuff and so on and so forth. We are fearing other people, how other people look at you.
Yeah.
But forgetting that the first person you need to worry about is about
How you look at yourself. Yeah. True. No,
But another thing that you kept bringing up was the learn. So failing is not a problem, but failing to learn from your failure, that's the problem. If you don't want to, where did I go wrong, re-look at the processes, improve on that so that you can get your thing, then you have a problem. Don't just fail and just cry there. That's all.
I think for myself, I mean, beginning of the years, I wouldn't say that I'm a Superman. I'm still a human as well. And I also fail, tremendously. And I have also repeated my failures at the same time. Not to say that I'm not to say that I'm
Simply do it,
or I'm God. I'm not. So sometimes you may not know what you may not know. That's always another mentor of mine always say, you may not know what you may not know. That's where you need to have people who are ahead of you.
Yep.
People who knows more from you, like probably a mentor or a coach or people who have done it. And people who have done it, in a lot of cases that I always tell my friends, my buddies, or even my mentees, is that don't look within your industry. Look at people out of your industry. People who you feel that, oh, this could be my mentor. But don't look at mentors where you say that, okay, that's my mentor, Gary Vee or Patrick Bet-David, but he's in US. That guy you can't even reach out to him. You're going to have people who are here locally where you can have a phone call away or to get advice from, and you ask a third party knowing that, or even your peers for that matter, to say, hey, am I doing this correct? Am I right? Because there's many things that you are doing but you can't see the reflection of yourself. Other people may see it, may be able to judge you. But the problem that you can't judge yourself. But that comes to another problem. The other problem is, a lot of times people are not willing to see the truth of themselves.
Okay, fair enough. Wow, so many things, huh?
As the saying goes, the truth will set you free, right? And so, how would people be able to discern, on what is the truth and what isn't the truth? Because we always say everybody has their own opinion, right? So how would one discern the truth?
Well, I have I have an exercise that I often speak to my buddies, and this is something which I also speak to my partner about it, is that sometimes in most cases you want to learn from the truth. One of the things that you must put in mind is that you cannot put things personally. Not to say that you don't change personally, you must change personally, but you don't take the negative as personal. And how do you do it? How do you do it? I give you an example. If today I have an argument with JJ, you and I are having an argument. Probably you and I are going to say, stop. Let's say example, I say, stop.
Yep.
Let's put it this way. Imagine you and I are spirit, and we are putting ourselves out from these two bodies. But we are the spectators, but we are looking into both these jokers that is actually having an argument right now. As a spectator, let's say you're the third party, you are a third party, I'm a third party now, but we are looking at JJ and Irwin arguing. So you're going to ask yourself, as a third party, what are these two guys doing? That's how you
Being very objective about it.
Yes, don't put it personally.
Yeah.
Put it as you are the third party and looking at these two jokers is like, what are they arguing about? You know, and if you can put yourself out from where your whole situation is, and really objectively identifying the truth behind, you'll be able to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, and you know, you've been exposed to environments where it's high stakes, high stress, probably where you were leading your industries unite during the lockdown period, right, together with your partner at that time, right? So when you're dealing with all of these heads, right, of their own companies, of their own associations, and bringing them all together, how I'm sure there's a lot of arguments that will come up, right? There will be differences in opinion, differences in visions. How did you manage to consolidate everybody and get everybody focused on the same goal?
How you deal with people's egos. No offense.
No, I mean, of course, everyone's ego has to be taken care of. But I feel that in everything that we do, the most important thing is very much about the goal.
Okay.
The goal has to be clear. Clarity must be there. And in a lot of cases, regardless whether it's an association, whether it is industry unite during that time, during the coalition, we have a very clear goal. What do we want to achieve? It is not about your personal gain or my personal gain. It's not about your objective and my objective. It's a objective together.
Yep.
I mean,
Okay.
because to me, you're on the same ship with me. If this ship sinks, I'm gonna sink together with you. I mean, regardless where we are,
Yeah.
you are not gonna win. I'm not gonna win.
Correct.
So if I'm gonna win a battle, but I'm gonna lose a war, why am I in this battle? That's the case. So I feel a lot of times today why a lot of partners, a lot of people for that matter, husband and wife, so to speak, we have a lot of quarrels or we have a lot of disappointment or argument is because the clarity is not there.
Right.
And when you have clear clarity, and clarity is from what? Clarity is from real concise communication. You gotta have a very clear communication, and it has to be a two-way communication. It cannot be one way and one person just talk, the other person just listen.
Understand.
It has to be a two-way communication. Then you understand clarity that we are actually achieving the same goal together, right? So that part, it's always the fact. Fundamentally, we don't get that right because everyone has a different goal.
Correct.
Because to me, my goal could be not A. Let's say you want to reach A. A is our goal. Mine is probably A1. When from your angle, you are looking at probably A2.
Right.
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 So there's a misinterpretation in terms of the direction of where we are going.
Okay.
But actually, where we are going is A0. You see? Yeah. So once we have that clarity, we'll be able to align ourselves and know, okay, right. It's not about ego at play. No doubt, everyone's have their own ego.
Yeah.
But let's put this aside and let's come back to the original goal.
Right. But back to that also, sometimes there is a power gap.
Yes.
So power gaps are one of the reasons a lot of communications fail, because the person in power actually might be open to listen. It's just the person underneath better not just open up my mouth. I just keep quiet and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that doesn't cause a failure in communication?
Well, I believe, it depends on whether you are doing it within your own partnership or whether it's in a relationship
Yep.
or whether it's in an association or even in our coalition for that matter. Because different egos, different relationship or different communication is differs.
Yep.
It differs. I cannot give you a golden key on exactly how to do it.
True.
But because it's all different in terms of that angle. But if you're talking about in terms of, let's say, assuming that you're coming together with a full of presidents or associations of everyone,
Yep.
leaders of every team to come in, where some of them may have a very extrovert. Not necessarily everyone leaders are all extroverts.
Correct,
Some
correct.
are introverts.
Yep.
So they may keep to themselves, but they don't speak that much. But the thing is that they allow other people to speak. So you must have that gap where you need to play it right. Like, okay, I allow you to speak, but you can speak up to the maximum of 2 minutes. Let's say for that matter. Is it your time's up? Can you give it to the next person to speak? You know,
Right. Facilitator is very important.
The facilitating, the guideline has to be there. So once you have this guideline, then people will know how to play ball based on that. And everyone will have a fair share of what to say, what not to say, and how to say. If I give you a platform for you to speak and you decide to spoil your 2 minutes, you know, I wanted to say another word, but I know that
It's okay. It's on YouTube. We'll beep it out.
I know this is a friendly channel, so I can't say the F word. So you decide to F it up, so it's up to you, but
Yep,
you only
yep.
have 2 minutes. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So, you know, do you believe that in general people F up a lot, right? Throughout their journey, right?
I F up a lot
Yeah.
myself, right?
Suddenly we're just throwing F-bombs everywhere. Huh? Okay, let's go.
But you see, the interesting part was this. I was actually one of those people who were invited for the first F night. They brought it to Malaysia, and I was with one of other speaker. We will talk about how you F up, basically. So it's a failure night. So I find it very interesting a lot of times when people recall those nights, and we say that people love to listen to stories about how you F up,
Yeah.
right? But they don't want to be part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't want to be part of that journey or experience that themselves.
Yeah. So it's like I love to see someone drown. It's very dramatic, but I don't want to be the one who's
Person to
drowning.
drown.
The person is drowning.
Okay, he doesn't really want to see someone drown. Just it's a metaphor. Just everybody calm down before we get like hate mail. What do you mean by that? Just calm down, everyone. It's a conversation.
No, I mean, it's
Yeah, I know what you
metaphor.
mean, dude.
But what I'm trying to say is that people love to see a drama.
Yeah.
today. I mean, if you look at the youngsters, I mean, the social
Tragedy
media right now,
sells.
tragedies all going up viral. You see car hitting car, you know, maybe someone just fell down and so on and so forth. It's always on a high rating, you know.
And given an environment like that, right, with social media, you know, even traditional media was already focusing on all of the drama because that's what captures people's attention,
Correct.
that's what captures clicks, and that's what drives ad revenue.
Yep.
Okay, so knowing that your children are growing up in an environment as such, this is what they are being fed by social media.
Yeah.
How do you manage manage them in this environment?
No, I feel nowadays, you're absolutely right. Not only my kids, I mean everyone's kids right now. It's always on the phone. But one thing I believe that we learned this from one of our friends, beginning of time, where for our kids we have always asked our kids to practice to read books.
Right.
So I mean, it is similar with where Patrick Bet-David says, you know, it's like if you want to use your iPad or you want to use your phone, you better read up 20 pages. So this is exactly what's happening also in our household. It's like if you want to use, you know, the devices that for you make sure that by hook or by hook by crook, you have to read up on the pages. You need to go back to your studies and read up pages. You know, learn something from the traditional approach where before you are able to go and let's say swipe your TikToks and Instagram.
And how do you keep track of them actually reading it? How do you verify?
It will every week there's a count back, meaning that they need to write a small essay as in what I've learned, what
Summary.
I've learned, a summary in terms of that, and then you ask questions and stuff. You actually learn from that. I believe my two more adult kids, they are already past that because they're coming to their tail end of their teenage. But of course, I have a younger one. She's actually 14 years old this year, but. The good thing is that we instill good things on her, and they are not onto the device all the time. That's something that we don't practice, as in device all the time. They will put their device elsewhere, not always on the phone, but they will actually resort into traditional like studying and doing. Me and my youngest, we always play board games.
Oh, I love board games.
We play board games. I mean, we play chess, Chinese chess, Black and Deckers, and so on and so forth. We still resort into board games, even Monopoly and of course Scrabble as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the challenging things for kids and even for parents to make this decision is that kids right now they are growing up in an environment where they have their iPad, their phones, and they are very competent in using it. Right, so like an example, one of my girlfriend's niece, she just lives with Alexa, Amazon Alexa, right? Whatever question she has, hey Alexa, help me solve this maths problem. Hey, and then chat with Alexa day to day. Okay, so on one hand, is embracing technology, right? But on the other hand, we also know the pitfalls of technology.
Yeah.
And technology is becoming more and more pervasive in our lives. Well, right now, at least the digital hardware is separate from us. But in just a couple of years' time, it will be embedded in us, like Elon Musk's Neuralink, for example. Right? So, given that we are headed towards that direction, don't you think there will be a divide between those who fully integrate themselves with technology versus those who are like, drawing lines and boundaries around that?
Well, I believe I'm also reading up a lot of write-ups coming, not the tweeters from Elon Musk. I mean, not from Elon Musk tweeters, but not from his tweets, but more of his autobiography and the things that he has done. I would say that one of the things that he did mention is very much that a lot of things that is autonomous, meaning to say that is automatic, that can be done intelligently or calculated in a way, can be replaced using AI. But one of the things that can't be replaced at this moment in time, or shall I say in this very near future, is about creativity. And creativity, innovation, it's a human thing. And you can't replace that. AI at this moment in time, I won't say in future you won't have, but at the moment in time, you still need input from human. That's important. And having that creativity it's more of a human thing, and sometimes a lot of times it's very much about talking to not only kids but also even within your peers to come up with new ideas, new innovation, new ways of doing things, and so on and so forth. Where do you come up with these ideas? Things like that. I think it's very important. Coming back to just now the question about kids and failures for that matter. Maybe I turn back this thing. I maybe for the audience as well. A lot of times we share this thing. So I ask this question: if today your kid comes back and do a homework, and let's say assuming that the questions are there, and your kid will bring your homework to you and say that, Papa, this is my homework. Can you check and see whether it's right or wrong? Assuming that you already know that two answers are wrong, you already know it's wrong. So may I ask, would you correct your kid immediately and ask your kid to change the question? To change the answers?
Yeah. That's the hardest part.
This is the thing that I practice and I also share with my friends as well. I will go to my kid and I will say this. I say, let's say my daughter, I say that, are you clear? Are you happy with your answers? I say, can you look at your answers again and see whether you are happy with it? And you are sure that those are your answers. In my kid, because a lot of times kids are very careless, and they are careless, and they have to. It's more like failure. You need to allow them to fail. So to me, I will never correct my kid. I said, once I asked her and she said that, yeah, I think it's correct. I said, fine, no problem. I will not correct them. I'll let her pass up her homework knowing that it is a wrong
Answer.
It is a wrong answer. Because by the time the teacher will correct and it's wrong, she will come back to me and say that, Papa, I remember passing you the thing, but it's wrong. I said, remember I asked you whether you are clear with your answers?
Right.
Because you were careless, because that was the mistake. You have to allow your kids to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need
And
to
face the
feel that
consequences.
and face the consequences on that. I think basically it's sum up to what we have talked about.
Yeah.
And it's sum up from how we are brought up. You know, if you are brought up from an environment that you say that you can't fail, there's fail, you straight away you make changes on that. You do not know the consequences. Of that.
Yeah.
So that is something that I've never done in any of our kids, which is to correct their answers. I mean, if they feel that the answers is that it is, but knowing that it is wrong, you let them make it wrong.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So in a way, you are helping them maintain that connection to reality as well, right? Cause and effect.
Well, it's the closest of how reality is. I mean, if you look at the lesson of life will not tell you that when everything has to be correct, then only you do it.
Correct. Failure is part of life, and mistakes is part of life, and also lessons in life is you trying things and just moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. So, we're coming close to the end already.
Yep.
Can I know what's your plan this year? What's your big plan? I'm sure for someone who started the conversation with structured, no plan, what's the plan for this year, man?
Well, I've been I've been an entrepreneur. I mean, Ching Yu has mentioned that being a serial entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur. I don't like the word serial entrepreneur. It's just that we invested in a couple of companies and we actually did well in some of the partnerships. And I would say that it's not all my win. It's about having a good team behind you and able to work ahead what you want to do. So for me, for the past 6 years, I would say almost 5.5 years, I've been very much focused on myself, which means focus within our companies, the things that we do within our own organization, and the families that is being hired within our company. So for 5.5 years, coming to 6 years, I've actually removed my name from, like, let's say training, speaking, inspiring other people on how to do and what to do. So this year, moving forward, we have high plans to actually revisit that. And I'm coming back into the scene where offering up myself and my team together to be speaker, trainers, not to the coaching part, because we have strategic and tactical coaches as well.
Right.
Where it's ultimately bringing the next step, as in wanting to work with winners. And wanting to grow with the future winners as well.
Right.
So this is something which I feel that it's interesting for me, for personally, because it's more like living a legacy and having people knowing what's right and what's wrong and how to do it, and being there at the forefront. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm learning from these people. I'm learning from all these young people, because back then you do a business plan and you say that your ROI in 2 years' time. Now, if you say 8 months, they say that it's too slow. You see, so you are learning from them as well. So I mean, it's a vice versa kind of thing. But I think that there's a way where, apart from me learning it, but of course it's also instilling new ideas and innovation, also following structures where there are ways to do it well and do it successfully. And that's where I'm actually offering myself to come back into this speaking and training field, so that we can actually bring more people to where we are today. Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Yeah.
So we're gonna, put it in the comments, and so you can connect with our friend. And of course, we here will figure out ways to work together as well.
Yes.
That's the idea, communication. And speaking about communication and, finding partnership, start conversations. And you can do that in the comments down below.
Right.
Start something, say what you think, what you good about the thing, what you learned. And you never know, someone might connect with you, and because of that, the connection grows. So comment down here, share with your friends, and that's it. But Dude, thank you so much for
Thank
chatting
you.
with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Irwin.
Yep, hopefully it's not too scary. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.